Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you today? Guess what the time is? It's 10 o'clock. Must be time for Ken at 10. If you haven't been here before, nice to virtually meet you. I come on every day and ramble about all things estate agency and life in general. Hopefully, it will help you get through your day if you're at work or at home, and something a little bit different. So welcome along, and the regulars, thanks for coming back again. Few things today, just on general news. First of all, just heard about Dame Vera Lynn. She's sadly passed away. I mean, what a legend. Unbelievable. 103 years old, and she was known obviously for boosting morale during the Second World War with We'll Meet Again and the likes. Absolutely amazing woman and had an incredible life. So sincere condolences to her and her family. Very sad day that. And yesterday, of course, Willie Thorne. If you're a snooker fan like we are, then you'll know that Willie was a great fun guy and sadly passed away yesterday. Apart from that, football is back. Did you notice yesterday? Weird, wasn't it, with no crowds and things? But lovely to see the beautiful game back on the screen, even if it was a bit strange with piped crowds and no one out there in the crowd. It just seemed odd. But thankfully for Aston Villa, it seems that the VAR has coronavirus, because if it didn't, then they would have lost that game for sure. But it's still great to have it back on screen. My wife's a Villa fan, so of course she's very glad that VAR didn't work. Few things today. The first thing today I wanted to talk about, I promised you yesterday that we would talk about electrical regulations, because these are important and brand new, and these come in from the 1st of July. So if you're a landlord, if you're letting properties, you need to know this. From the 1st of July 2020, and this is for new tenancies. So if you're about to let a property and it's on or after the 1st of July 2020, you will need to provide an electrical safety certificate. Therefore, also after the 1st of July, any existing tenancies will require one from the 1st of April 2021. So if you've got a tenancy, whether you renew it or it's a statutory periodic, after the 1st of April 2021, you will also be required to hold an electrical safety certificate, and you'll need to test at that point. I would suggest you should be testing way before that. So what does it mean? Private landlords must ensure electrical safety standards are met when the property is occupied during a tenancy. Every fixed electrical installation at the property is inspected and tested every 5 years by a qualified person. And the first inspection testing is carried out before new tenancies commence, on or after 1st July 2020. And as I've already said, April 21 for existing tenancies, whether you renew them or not. Even if you let them roll over, a report is still required by 2021. So if you're new to letting, or you're thinking of letting your property out, really good idea to get that test done now, because in my experience, it's quite disruptive if you need work done. Sometimes we're talking about challing walls, lifting floors and the like, and it can require redecoration. So an ideal opportunity if you're a landlord and you haven't done it yet, get it done, because once tenants are in, much more difficult to do. So who is qualified to do this? This is a big question. There are various answers to it. The qualified person is someone who is competent to undertake the inspection and testing, as well as any further investigative or remedial work in accordance with electrical safety standards. Now, who is that person? Someone who has passed a level 3 certificate in electro-technical assessment specification qualifications. So we're talking about level 3 or above certificates in installing, testing and ensuring compliance of electrical installations in dwellings. Bodies to look out for, the one that we always suggest is NIC, EIC, and there are others, NAPIT, STROMA, and the ECA. So the person that you're looking for should ideally belong to one of those organizations. So what you need to do, you need to obtain a report that includes the results of the inspection and test, supply a copy of that report to each existing tenant at the property or to new tenants before they move in. Supply the most recent copy of the report to any new tenant before they move in, and to any prospective tenant within 28 days of receiving a request for that report. Unlikely that will happen, but you still need to do it and think about it. Retain a copy of that report until the next inspection and test is due. Fairly obvious, really, I suppose. So local authority, the main thing to worry about here is that the legislation has teeth, and there is a fine of up to £30,000 for non-compliance. Now, I doubt very much the first fine would come in straight away at that kind of level, but I do think that it's a very serious piece of legislation. You need to look at it very carefully and make sure you're complying. If you're worried about it, obviously we can help, and always delighted to give you advice on that. But be ahead of the game. If you've got an existing tenant, rather than wait until April next year when everyone will be doing it, it's busy now, I know, but get ahead of the game, get your report done early. It lasts for 5 years, so it doesn't really matter. Thanks, Property Jungle, and good morning to you. So yeah, make sure that you get your electrical testing done. Of course, the other regulations still apply: fire safety, and of course the big one, gas safety. Just another thing to make sure is checked off on your list before you move those tenants in. Talking of tenancies, we have been busier than ever on lettings, and one bedrooms in this area now are averaging £1,000 per calendar month, which just seems incredible, doesn't it? Here we are in Zone 3, outer London area, albeit we are popular and we're glad of that. It's tough for young people, isn't it, when a one-bedroom flat can command £1,000 a month, and the salary required for compliance to get, for the landlord to get the insurance on that, is £30,000. So that can be a joint salary, of course. So if two people are on 15,000, then the joint salary of 30 would suffice to get them through referencing. But it's tough for young people, and that's why room rates are so high. And again, they're running at £650 per calendar month just for a room. That's how crazy the housing crisis is in London. For those that own a property, well, you're lucky to do so. And there are lots of people out there that don't and won't ever get the opportunity of doing so. If you do have the opportunity, you know what? Now is a fantastic time to take advantage of the market. It's a bit slower. Prices haven't fallen. They're not going to fall off a cliff anytime soon, contrary to popular belief. As I've mentioned before, several of the sales that we've had have fallen through over the coronavirus and been tied back up at the same price or even higher figures than they were pre-lockdown. So don't think that by hanging on, you're necessarily going to get the best deal. And bear in mind, you know, for most of us, this is a 25-year investment, isn't it? You know, we put the money in now and we don't see that money again until we cash in and retire, maybe in our 60s or 70s. So really, you should be thinking also, not just, you know, what's the market doing in the short term, trying to macro manage everything, but actually, what would I be doing if not? And in our area, for instance, you'd be paying £1,000 a month just for your rent. So, you know, that money could be going towards your own future. So if you can afford to buy, fantastic time to get in. So hope you have a good day today. That's it from us at Ken at 10. Got an interesting interview coming up for you from some guys in Streatham Common that do film production. So if you're thinking of becoming a next megastar or TV presenter, then I'm sure they've got some great tips for us. Looking forward to that. And rainy here in southwest London, unfortunately. Hopefully the weather will clear up for us later. We've got a twilight shoot we're trying to do, and we're struggling to get that just because of the weather. But what can you do? That's the UK for you, isn't it? So Ken at 10, signing off. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you tomorrow.